Hello and welcome. So we're gonna be doing like a little vlog for a few days. I also have some news, which is that Humdrum, my little old lady, she is gone. I had her put to sleep. Basically, what happened there is she was very old. First of all, she was 3 years and almost 2 months old. She was very, very old. But she had a couple things going on. One, it was getting increasingly difficult to keep weight on her, which didn't stop me from trying. Two, she had HLD, which is hind leg degeneration, which is something rats can get sometimes. It's more common in males than females, but it's either caused by arthritis or kidney failure, and with her it was kidney failure. And it's basically where the legs start to go paralyzed and it kind of creeps up the body. Sailor has it too, but hers is I have under control. Humdrum's was getting increasingly worse and it was getting very hard for her to navigate the cage. But, and this is the main reason I had to let her go, she also had a tumor on her stomach, and it wasn't growing very fast, but it was cancerous, and it started to develop holes in it. And at that point, the kindest thing for her was to let her go before she realized her body was failing her, because she was still a very happy girl, but with the tumor the way it was, the best thing was to say goodbye. So, if you've been on here a while, you see that last 3 rats that we lost, I did a little video tribute to them. I don't know if I will with Humdrum because, to be perfectly honest, I don't know if I can. Like, I had her for 3 years. I knew her entire life. I was there the day she was born, and I just miss her a lot. So, yeah, I don't know if I'll do that because, anyway. So yeah, we're just gonna do a little vlog, kind of go around with the rats for this week. The weather girls are doing okay. The weather girls are the ones who live with Humdrum. Foggy was a little weird when I brought her out for free roam. She just didn't quite know what to do, I guess. She just seemed stressed out. And this little hide here, Humdrum was in it before she passed away, like before I took her in, I mean. So it smells like her still, and Cloud has been in there for most of free roam, which is unlike her. So they miss her too, but they'll be okay. They are okay. So yeah, I do have clips from Ducky, Dorothy, and the boys' birthday cookies because I gave everyone a birthday cookie. I'm gonna go ahead and put that in after this, and Humdrum was still alive when I did that, so you will see her. But that'll be the last clip of her. So yeah, I'll see you in a little bit.
Hey, who wants treats? Oh,
I made your favorite. Oh, very gentle, Lockley. Very gentle, Grant.
Spectre, where are you?
Spectre?
Spectre,
Spectre?
where are you?
Are you fighting? Spectre, there's one right here. There's one right here. Spectre.
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 All right.
You overcomplicated that. Look at you, you're out. Sailor. Say. Oh, she's gonna come at me, watch. Say.
Jesus.
Hi,
Doc Hopper.
very gentle. Come on, Hopper. Very gentle.
Fifle.
You're not gonna be gentle, are you?
Fifle.
No.
Jeez.
Oh,
Oh,
Orby.
what do you call after her?
Oh, she deserves her name to be said too. Oh wait, I think that's Warren. Do you see her under here? Oh wait, are you coming? Yeah, it was Warren. Oh, here's Bug. Bug. Now where's Honey? Honey, are you in here? No, I don't think she is. Honey? I think she might be down here. Open every cage door. Yeah, Honey? These guys are very gentle. Humdrum's not gonna be. She's still got the chutzpah. Hello, Cloud. Cloud. Sunny, come here. Sunny. Okay.
Pink hammock.
Pink hammock. Oh, I'm sorry. Who's in here? Oh my god, she came at me. You're a little chunky, so I'm giving you the little one. I think this little bump here, down here is Hummy, so let me close this. Humdrum. Yeah, Hummy. Come here. You gotta come out. Okay, I'm gonna pull the rug out from under you real quick, okay? Okay. She doesn't know what to do with it. Here you go. Yeah, she thinks they're hers because they smell like peanut butter. It's embarrassing, really.
Yeah, Cujo, you're really embarrassing. Are you ready?
I don't know if they've ever had peanut butter. Hey, look, you're so tiny. Are you gonna break my heart one day?
Yeah.
It's the size of your head. Oh my god, are you just gonna eat it out of my hand? There you go. Sooner? Curtains? Curtains?
I think she's a wee bit blind.
I think she's very blind.
Her worse. She sways.
Oh, does she?
Mm-hmm.
She, I think, actually might be worse because she doesn't even, like, try to navigate with her
Got that.
eyes a lot of the time.
Do you wanna,
So.
do you want to say something?
About?
The cookies.
Oh, yeah, those were birthday cookies. Did you enjoy those cookies? So yeah, the cookies, I make them all the time. There's a recipe somewhere on my channel for them. They don't get them often, but they do enjoy them. They're made with peanut butter, so naturally. But yeah. Alright, so I went ahead and cleaned the baby cage and I thought you guys might like to see it. But while I was talking with my friend here, as you can see, the audio didn't come out amazing. So I'm just going to do a little voiceover. Ignore the fact that I'm talking in the video. It's fine. But anyway, yeah, I'm cleaning the baby cage. Since it's a small cage and there's 3 rats living in it who aren't completely potty trained, I do have to clean it about once a week as of right now. I'm going to try to get them in with someone else soon, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, so I'm just taking everything out here. The babies are currently in a carrier behind me. Also, if you can hear the construction sounds next door, I'm so sorry, I cannot escape it. If I could, I would. I wouldn't make you listen to that if I didn't have to. But yeah, so I'm just taking out the hammocks here, all the wood, all that basket in the back. It kind of used as a litter tray. I've taken that out. I took the water bottles off. And yeah, I'm talking with my friend here. So basically at this point, we're kind of giving an update on her rats, which is, you know, it's not the funnest update, but Grant, who, I'll pop up a picture right here with all the other pictures, but Grant has developed a lump. It's not in a great spot. It's between her thigh and her, I guess I'll say just her bum for YouTube purposes. And it's like one of those tricky spots that's really hard for vets to remove things from, especially things like tumors, which can get big so quickly, which Grant's did. Basically, we didn't see anything for, you know, obviously her whole life, and then over the course of a weekend, all of a sudden there was a giant lump between her thigh and her bum. And we thought maybe at first it might have been an abscess just because of how quickly it popped up, but we didn't want to take a chance. So we did take her to the vet, and the vet said that it could be an abscess or it could be a tumor, and she didn't really know. And a lot of times when this happens, a vet will decide to do a fine needle aspirate, which is just where they kind of poke it with a needle and see what the cells look like under like a microscope. And this vet didn't want to do that because it was either an abscess or a tumor, and she just wanted to send us home with antibiotics because it is such a hard spot to do surgery on. And while I, for cats and dogs, am a big advocate of, just listen to your vet. It's smarter to just listen to your vet. With exotics, I'm less of an advocate for that, just because I've been to a lot of vets, and so many of them don't know what they're talking about, but act like they do, and will treat you like you're dumb for knowing more than them. And I know vets hate when you say that, but with exotics, I do feel like a lot of times owners do know more than the vet does. So yeah, we took her to the vet. This is the one instance where I say, no matter your research, listen to the vet, and it's because the vet said it was a tricky spot to remove a tumor from, which I already knew. But if a vet is saying that, that means they are not confident in their ability to actually remove it, which in turn means you are risking your rat more if you try and force the situation. So, when she said that she would like to do antibiotics first to see if it was an abscess, we agreed because we already knew the chances of her being able to remove it were pretty slim. And at this point, she's been done with the antibiotics for a little bit, and it's just not looking great. It didn't go away, it didn't shrink, in fact it got a little bit bigger, to the point where even a very skilled veterinarian would find it difficult to remove the tumor and all the surrounding tissue that might contain cells that would regrow the tumor. So yeah, we don't know how much longer Grant's going to be with us if it isn't an abscess. I unfortunately currently, as of right now, don't think it's an abscess. I think it is a tumor. So we don't know. Yeah, we don't know how long she's going to be with us. We're hoping she'll be with us for quite a bit longer. It's just one of those things. Like, it's grown to the point now where I don't think it would be wise to remove it. I think it would damage something on her body. And it grew quickly. It grew very, very quickly. It's only been there, we from when we found it to now, it's only been there a couple weeks. So, that was kind of what we were talking about and explaining things. And then the other part of this was Lockley, who's also developed a tumor. And this is a mammary tumor for sure. It's like in a classic mammary tumor spot. It's small. It's under her armpit. It's easy to remove. It's like the best case scenario because those ones that are like by their armpit are so easy to just lop off and move on. But another factor is we have yet to find a vet we like, which is very frustrating for us because we do have so many rats, and like we loved our old vet so much, we trusted him so much. Like if Grant had the tumor with him, he would have just immediately taken it off because he had so much experience, and he wouldn't have even hesitated. And I do appreciate that, but it does make us feel bad that because we're in this current situation with our current vets, it makes us feel like perhaps we put our rats in a bad situation. And I know that's not necessarily the case, but it's just one of those things. But Lockley will definitely be able to get the tumor removed, and she'll do great under anesthesia. I think she's never really had any issues. And once she's done with that, healing should be pretty easy because it's very small at this point. It's pea-sized and it's not really growing. So hopefully we'll get that taken care of soon. If so, you'll see that in a hopefully very upcoming vlog. I still have to figure out, the vet still has to figure out like pricing and stuff and get back to me so I can set up the appointment, but we'll see. Yeah, so here I'm just dumping the bedding. I've taken everything out, so it's time to dump the bedding. You can see like all the bits of pee and dust and stuff stuck to the bottom of the pan, which can happen with like tiny cages like this. It doesn't really happen with my critter nations with the Bass Pro pans. But yeah, so we've dumped that. That's my bottle. It's just full of Dawn dish soap and water. That is my preferred method of cleaning things, just because I find that it doesn't really affect the respiratory system, and it does get it clean, and it's antibacterial, so I just prefer it. So yeah, here comes the part where I spray down all their items: the cage, the bars, the bottom, the pan, all their wood stuff that you saw me take out in their basket. I'm going to spray all of it down, and then obviously wipe it down so that it's not still wet when they get in it. So yeah, to rewind a little bit, let's get back to talking kind of about the vets. So we are in the process of finding one that we can work with, kind of like what we had back in Arizona before we moved, which will hopefully happen soon. And the other thing about this whole process was kind of discovering that the breeder we got Grant Lockley and Spectre from really wasn't that great, because Cappy told her about what was going on, and the breeder's response was basically to tell Cappy it was her fault, which I have so little patience for. So the girls are almost a year and a half old. This is the exact time that these kinds of things would pop up. Like, tumors, especially in females, are just very common in rats. But the breeder's just like, oh, none of my rats have ever gotten a tumor because I only feed them Missouri rodent, which is a lab block designed for rats and mice, so it's not even curated specifically to rats. And, I mean, like in the UK, lab blocks are considered a good source for tumors. In the US, it's like a little bit different because a lot of people feed oxbow, and I'm not here to judge you if you feed oxbow or anything. Oxbow is a good food. In the US, a high quality lab block or the Sheenamite diet are considered to be the best options for food. However, if you have a breeder who is telling you that it is your fault that your rat got a tumor because of their diet, they're lying to you to make themselves look good. So the thing with this is, does diet affect their health? Yes. Does their weight affect their health? Yes. But there are other factors. There's husbandry overall. There's genetics, which is the biggest factor. And honestly, there's pure dumb luck. So if you're going to a breeder and you ask them questions about the health of their lines, and they say things like, oh, I've never had an aggressive rat ever. I've never had a rat with a tumor ever. None of my rats have ever had a URI. They're lying to you because they want to look good. And they don't want to take blame, even if you're not talking to them in a blameful way. So, like, I've had suspicions about this breeder for a bit, because when Sailor became aggressive, she said those words to me, I've never had an aggressive rat. And I thought, okay, well, maybe she got lucky. I don't know. But then I found out that she's been breeding for 15 years, which means she's had rats for even longer. And then that's when I was like, in 15 years, you've never gotten an aggressive male? I highly, highly, highly doubt that. And then when Heidi started having seizures, I asked her if there was a history of that, and she said no. And then obviously the stuff with Cappy's rats and her tumors. And the thing with this is, I wasn't aware of the history behind Silvermanes at the time, but Silvermane rats, when they were first discovered, were notorious for being extremely viciously aggressive, to the point where spaying and neutering didn't work. And that's basically how Sailor has been for most of her life. We are trying to work with her now. Like, she was spayed and she calmed her down enough that she could be around me and her sisters, but she's been difficult with other female rats and male rats. Actually, she did not like male rats either. And if you've been watching, you know I'm working with her on that. And the other thing is that Silvermane's had a history of having seizures, which Heidi had a bunch before. Like, I got it under control at some point, but she was having seizures a lot. And so for her to tell me that she's worked with Silvermanes, her Silvermane line just happens to have the two most notorious things that the Silvermane line was known for. But hers, her personal ones that she didn't adopt out, have just never had an issue. It's hot garbage. She's lying to my face because she doesn't want to seem like a bad breeder. And for some reason she thinks that if her animals have any issues whatsoever, it will make her a bad breeder. And the thing with that is, it's not true. Rats get sick. Rats get tumors. Rats get aggression issues. And what she should have said to Cappy was, that's unfortunate. There's not a distinct history of tumors in my line. However, I have had some with tumors because, of course, she has. You can't magically get them to not have tumors by feeding them Missouri because it is hormonal based. Intact females are notorious for tumors because of the hormones. And spaying them wouldn't be effective if it was just diet-based or weight-based, because spaying female rats makes them gain weight easier. But, okay, fine. Let's go back to what she should have said. What she should have said is that they're at the age for it. Female rats just sometimes get tumors. It's no one's fault. and then she should have given her advice on how to deal with it going forward. But that's not what she did, and I'm honestly furious with her for blaming Cappy, who, you know, she's known me for years. She knows rats just get tumors, but it still hurt her because it made her doubt herself, and she shouldn't doubt herself. She's taking great care of her rats. And I just think about, like, if this breeder is dealing with people who don't know better, who don't know that sometimes female rats just get tumors, and they're trying everything, they're not giving them any treats whatsoever, which this breeder claims she does, and feeding them just Missouri rodent, which is not a high quality lab block, and just like they get tumors, and they're just like, oh, what have I done? I did everything you said. Well, you didn't do anything. Rats just get tumors. So that was a very frustrating thing for me to have to deal with. So yeah, if you're talking with a breeder and they claim that their rats have never gotten sick, or they just all die of old age, they're lying to you. They want to sell you a rat. They want to look good. They want you to sell their rats for them, and don't let them do that, because it's not fair to you. It's not fair to the rats. It's not fair to the community. These people are lying. That's just how it is. So at this point in the cage cleaning, I'm just putting everything back together, which means putting more bedding in the bottom. I filled their basket with some bedding, and I'm going to put their hammocks and their stuff back in a slightly different way than before, so that it is more interesting to them. And to just give a little update on the babies, they are clearing up pretty nicely from their little snuffles. And I will say, since we are on the subject of breeders, that I actually really like their breeder. I was frustrated when I first got them and they were making noise, because I've been dealing with so many bad breeders and so many bad sources for rats that I just assumed that she wouldn't care. But when I messaged her and told her, she cared so deeply, and she really stepped up and did everything she could to, like, get them better. Like, she took care of their medicine. She wanted updates. She kept asking me how they were doing. Like, she cared a lot. So, and that is the thing, is like, sometimes, you know, people aren't infallible. They make mistakes. Oh, right here I'm just telling you that with these pear-shaped hooks, to put the wide part down, because otherwise they are a hanging hazard for your rat. So if you're using pear-shaped clips, make sure that the circular part is hanging downward so they can get their head in and out safely. But anyway, the breeder really stepped up, and she has a lot of, like, good talking points, because I've seen breeders who, when they talk about their rats, they only talk, like, instead of using the rat's name, they use their variety, which tells me that the rat doesn't have a name. They don't see them as an individual animal. They're just a way for that person to make a profit. Whereas this breeder, when I talked to her, she mentions names. When I was talking to her about my babies specifically, she was talking about how they're like their parents and how their personalities were when they were living with her. And I really like that. It really gave the sense that she has a, like, good bond with her rats, and I care about that a lot, because otherwise what's the point of having rats if you don't care about them? What's the point of breeding them if they're not anything special to you? Because, like, where I'm currently living, a lot of the breeders cull, which means that they kill the babies that they don't want to keep, or they think make them look bad. Or they do at-home neuters, which is not, don't ever frickin' do that. If you're going to a breeder who claims that they will neuter the males for you, run the other way, because what they're doing is extremely cruel to the animal. I'm not going to go into details on how they do it, because I don't want to put that information out there and have someone think that they can, I don't know what she was doing there, they can do that themselves and save money. A lot of times these animals are going to pass away. They're going to suffer. They're going to suffer a lot, actually. Like, from what I've learned, it's so abundantly clear that these people do not care about the animals. They care about selling them. They care about protecting their lines. They care about, you know, just their own selfish gain. I do not believe in neutering at home or any, like, surgical procedure at home. Under no circumstances should you be doing a vet's job in that regard, because you're going to get an animal killed, and that's not okay. But anyway, yeah, so at this point, I'm just putting everything together. You can see me trying to fit everything in, not doing a great job of it. Everyone else, rat-wise, everyone else is doing pretty good. There's like Bug, who seems to be handling the move a little less well than everyone else. She seems like a little shyer, a little more reclusive. She's spending a lot of time hiding during free roam, but I've been working with her and she seems to be getting a little bit better. She's not quite where I would like her to be, but I mean, that's kind of how Bug is. She's always been very shy. She doesn't really like hanging out with people. She doesn't like she doesn't like interacting really at all, but she seems definitely much worse after the move. And I think it was just a lot of big things at once. Like, she got spayed, which is like a huge hormonal change for her, and then she was moved, and then she went from one room to another room to another room as we were trying to figure out the layout for where all of our stuff would be. And I think in hopefully like a month or so, she'll like kind of relax enough to go back to being her dig box happy self, because she hasn't really been in the dig box much. That makes me sad, but everyone else seems to be doing okay. The weather girls are still doing okay without Humdrum. They seem a little jumpier, and Humdrum was the alpha. I have this thing with my rats, like it's very individual how your personal mischiefs are going to be, but with my rats I found that a lot of time when there's an extremely old rat, and with young rats, the younger rats just kind of defer to them as alpha. And that's how the weather girls were with Humdrum. They were very protective of her. They were very sweet with her. They were very gentle with her in a way they weren't with each other. And now that she's gone, I don't think that they quite understand how to change their dynamic in a way that makes them happy. Because none of them are in charge. And with female rats, sometimes you don't really get a clear-cut alpha the way you do with male rats. And with them, it's definitely, I think, affecting them. I think they do miss her a lot, which is very sad. And Sailor's doing okay without her sisters. We're going to try doing intros very soon. Hopefully there'll be a video up in a couple of weeks from when you guys see this one. I am ahead on videos right now, so like as I'm recording this, it is still August, so just keep that in mind when you're looking at things that are going on. But yeah, I'm hoping that we can get everyone situated and settled and happy, but it is just a matter of, I don't know what she's doing here. I think she's showing off her pictures. But it is just a matter of time for a lot of them, like my shyer ones. It is interesting how shy Bug is, because none of my other red-eyed rats are shy. Like, that's a thing you hear a lot, is that red-eyed rats are shy and they'll bite you. It's a whole thing. Not mine. Other than Bug, all of mine are very dynamic, social, bold, very confident rats. Bug's the only red-eyed rat I've had that I feel like might be a little on the shyer side. Oh, here are the babies. All three of these guys actually have red eyes, but you can only really tell with Lamb, who's up on my shirt right now. I'm showing you off Suitor, because she's a cutie. But yeah, here I am. I'm just going to put everyone back in now so that they can explore the new layout. Have a good old time. Look at them. Look at her trying to stay on me. Oh my god. Yeah, so, I don't know if that video was a little weird. So not much happened this week, so I didn't record too much. But, I am going to go ahead and end the video here, because I have a new one that I need to do. So, yeah, if you enjoyed this video, you know what to do. All the fun stuff down below, and I'll see you in the next one.